Welcome to Basket of Tales, a time travel into the world of stories.
Hello everyone, this is Miss S, and today I am back with another interesting story from the tales of Vikram and Bethaal. The saga of Vikram trying to catch Bethaal continued. As Vikram managed to get hold of Bethaal, he soon started narrating another story riddle. Now, this is a story about a son of a poor priest. His name was Gunkar. The priest had lot of expectations from him. However, Gunkar got into the company of some bad friends. He started stealing money from his father for gambling. His father was going through a lot of debts. Somehow he managed to save some money. He borrowed a huge amount from a local merchant and wanted to clear that debt because the merchant had warned him and given him a deadline to repay the borrowed money. One day the merchant sent his assistants to the priest to collect the money. "We are here to collect the money," said one of the assistants. The priest answered, "Yes, I do remember. Let me go and get some money that I saved." When he went inside and checked his money box, all the money was gone. He started weeping, but the merchant's assistant showed no mercy and they dragged him to the court, where he was beaten up very badly. The priest's wife couldn't see this, and she decided to give away all her jewelry to the merchant. She pleaded to leave him by taking all the jewelry that she had. The merchant finally agreed to let him go, and he took away all the jewelry. Gunkar reached home and he saw his father in pain. He couldn't take it and he accepted his guilt and said, "Father, I was the one who stole the money." The father couldn't forgive him and he asked him to leave the house. Gunkar had no choice but to leave. Now he was all alone. He didn't have money nor his family's support. He kept walking in search of food and water, but in vain. One evening, as he was resting under a tree, a sage spotted him. He wanted to help him. He felt pity on his condition. He took Gunkar to his cottage. Gunkar had not eaten for days. He was hungry. He asked Sage for some food, and the sage immediately made all the arrangements for food and comforts for him. The sage had some magical powers. Gunkar was astonished. The sage said, "You can enjoy these comforts, but only for a week. After this, all this will vanish." It didn't matter much to Gunkar, and he happily accepted and began enjoying his new surroundings. He didn't have to work. 7 days passed, and it was the time to let go of all the comforts and get back to his regular life. Gunkar couldn't handle it. He wanted the comforts to remain with him forever. The sage said, "You need to undergo 2 phases of intense training. You must demonstrate high level of commitment, dedication and focus." Few days passed and Gunkar was back to the sage. He said, "Guruji, I have completed the first phase." Sage was impressed. Gunkar then had a request to make. "Guruji, before I start the phase 2 of my training, I want to go visit my family once." The sage agreed. Gunkar had another request. He wanted to take some gifts for his family. The sage granted his wish too. He went home and met his family and gave them all the gifts. His family couldn't believe it. They were happy. After a few days, he returned back to the sage to continue the second phase of his training. It was very rigorous and tough, but Gunkar completed the training. Gunkar gets back to the sage. He says, Guruji, I have now completed both the phases of my training, and I have the same powers as you. I am capable of anything. He quickly started chanting the magic mantra and wished for it to work. However, it did not happen. Attempt after attempt failed. He abandoned in frustration. He asked the sage, You told me that I would attain all the powers after the training. I don't see that happening. Why? The sage just looked at him and smiled. Bethaal asks Vikram, Why do you think Gunkar couldn't acquire the powers? Where did he go wrong? Now let me pause here and give you a couple of moments to think as well. Vikram explains. The training was split into two phases, and Gunkar didn't complete it all at once. While it was in progress, he went to meet his family. It is not wrong to meet family. Instead, he should have waited to complete his training. The key to thriving with accomplishing any goal would be dependent on working with dedication, commitment, focus, and determination. That was Gunkar's biggest mistake, losing focus and being swayed away by materialistic things. While this impressed Bethaal, as per the terms, Vikram is not allowed to speak. Bethaal laughs and says, Well said, Vikram, but remember, you speak and I leave. Vikram is back again chasing Bethaal. Now let's wait and see what happens in our next story. See you all soon. Happy listening.